Hey everybody, another Tuesday. Welcome back, Adam, the Horseshoe Kid.
What is up, Mitch? How are you doing, brother?
Good buddy, yourself?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Working lots of hours, fishing. Can't complain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's good. Everything's busy, so you can have that money to go play.
absolutely. It's important. Christmas is coming up, so we're looking at gifts for people, right? So it's always nice to have a little overtime on the check to fill up the Christmas tree.
For sure. You got a little tracer on you, but hopefully
Oh,
she's
geez.
smoothed out.
Well, hopefully that fixes up shortly here. Sorry about that.
No problem. How was your weekend?
It's pretty good, man. I mean, fishing was a little slow. I tried hard. I was fishing more memories and trying to force a bite that wasn't happening, but we got a few, so I can't complain.
Nice.
How about you?
Yeah, I headed up to Lac La Biche with Fish Palooza Ice Shacks.
Right on.
Yeah, sweet guys. Met up with Kyle there, one of the owners, and caught some hog walleye. So can't wait. Hopefully the video turns out good. I haven't looked at the footage. I know my lighting was kind of bad, but hopefully
Shack's pretty nice.
Oh yeah,
Right on. That's cool.
he only had a couple out because he was still kind of just setting up for the year and testing everything out. But yeah,
Absolutely.
Great shack, great guy, great fishing spot.
That's wicked. Lots of great shacks around the province. I mean, you got the Little Johns there with adventure ice fishing. I mean, lots of great options around the province for good shacks. So that's cool to hear about that one.
Yeah, for sure. And Bryce down south there.
Absolutely, Bryce down south with Troubled Life, and I mean guiding service. If you want someone to put you on some big pike or some big walleye, I mean, Bryce is the man.
For sure. Maybe you should try to reload, Adam.
Okay, here, one sec. I'll come back.
Cool. And as we wait for Adam, Kevin, I don't know. I didn't measure, but there's over 26s for sure. I didn't take too long. I was trying to get him back, but I'd say 27 for sure at least. Chubby too. Yeah, I think they're still booking shacks up there. I know we had some openings from here to Christmas, so and into the new year. So get a hold of them at Fish Palooza. Hello.
How am I doing?
You're a little spacey still.
I don't know what's going on.
Oh, you were good for a second.
I'm not sure what's going on with my connection here. Maybe I'll just shut off my Wi-Fi.
See if it's better.
This is worse than ever, I think.
Oh, you're good.
Are we good?
Yeah.
All right, let's run that. Sorry, guys.
Awesome.
I apologize.
No problem, buddy. Yeah, so you're putting in the time down south?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been most of my season has been spent chasing trout, to be honest with you, so far. But heading into later December now, we're going to get away from that, right? I chased walleye last weekend and chased them a little bit this weekend. And like I say, I was more trying to force a bite that wasn't happening there, and didn't work out for me. But I did get a few fish, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I know Friday, as soon as I got there, it was just nonstop till dark. Then they're still moving around after light, but shut down pretty much overnight. They were just staying on the bottom. We were watching the live target, and you could see them come by, but they just weren't interested at night.
Yeah, see, and I was fishing a lot of rattle baits, and I was like trying to get them to rise off bottom, and I would get them to come up a couple feet, and then they'd kind of shy away, or I'd spook them at that point. Just wasn't working out for me, and I definitely gonna take those lessons into the future. Instead of trying to force things and make them be the way that I want them to be, I just gotta fish.
Yeah, every trip you learn something anyways.
One thing about walleyes, I mean, a lot of guys give them a lot of slack, or however you want to say it, but they are definitely something that is different day to day, 100%. Especially early ice like this, they're very susceptible to all the changes that are happening. So it can be really tough to get them. And if, like I say, if you do try to force something, it's not always going to work out for you. You got to cater to the fish at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, Friday was awesome. Saturday morning, you got that first hour and a half, then it just died off, and I heard the lake didn't fish as good all weekend either.
Yeah, hey. Was it like an active bite of, like, say, spoons, or like was it more of a dead stick bite?
Friday night, I couldn't even get a hook down. I was trying to set the jaw jacker beside me, and every time I set it and started trying to load it down, there'd be a fish on.
Oh, hey, that's crazy.
It was insane. It was like awesome. And
that's
then
top-notch fishing.
Then I gave up on the jaw jacker. Then I just switched between a rattle break bait, just a little live target, perch.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That little guy, and I could raise them off, and they were good with that. But then after that, I switched over to a little Wonderbread.
Yeah, Wonderbread jig, yeah.
With the stinger, because I was getting some short bites, but I think that was just small fish.
Yeah, absolutely could be.
I was going through a tub of minnows like way too quick, so I went to a rattle bait just for something else to do, and it was just an active bite. You know, you could put anything down, and they were hitting it.
That's always fun, right? Like when you can get a nice flasher bite like that when you're jig fishing something. It's a lot of fun. That's the way to do it. And like I say, that's what I was trying to force, and I don't think that's what was wanted at this point in the past couple of weeks down here anyways.
Yeah. Hey, Greg.
Hey, Greg, how you doing, buddy?
I was going to send a message to Greg, actually, but by the time I was set up Friday night, it was damn near dark to tell him to come rip down for a night. But yeah, like Saturday morning, I just stuck with the jig and minnow, and I landed one real nice one, lost one messing with the camera, trying to get it recording, lost one messing with the flasher, and I bumped one. But that was 4 solid fish, like
yeah, hey,
25-inch plus.
Right on.
But I caught a couple smaller ones, but they weren't as active. Like that first bit, they were coming in a little off the bottom. The big guys would just come in and steamroll kind of. But after that, it was just with just a jig and minnow, you're just kind of raising them off the bottom, and someone rejected, then it just kind of went shut down.
Yeah, hey. Yeah, and like I faced a rough bite, and most of my fish in the past 2 weeks have come on spoons, but they've been a lot of smaller walleye.
Yeah.
Yeah, and realistically, I'm not even marking them. Smaller fish are typically pretty aggressive all around. They're just coming in and crushing it. So
yeah,
it's fun until it's 15 inches.
Yeah. Well, I caught some of the smallest walleye I ever caught, but it was such like that Friday, such a diversity, and good to see like a healthy population of different sized fish. It was just awesome.
Yeah, that's wicked.
What kind of spoon were you running?
Well, so something new I've been trying and I've actually been having luck on is the scissor kick. Yeah, it's more of just straight up and down action, and it's got 2 blades on it. So every time you jig it up or down, those blades spin, those propellers. That's been really good for me. And then classic Cleo in the 1/4 ounce, just tipped with a minnow head. Those have been really good for me.
Have you tried that head spinner yet?
The head spin jig?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have some of the head spin jigs. They're definitely nice. I like the citrus snack one. I have that color there as well. And they've done pretty well for me. I tie a stinger on them. I fish pretty big, pretty large minnows typically, right? So I tie a stinger off them. But I caught a few fish off them this weekend, which was nice. And they held up really well. There's a good, strong, stout hook on them. So it's nice lure for sure.
Was that spinner working good on the front there instead of having it kind of right after the head like usual?
Absolutely. And what I like about it being on the front and like, don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of prop jigs with it behind as well. I just find if your hook shank isn't long enough, what's going to happen if it's on the back is that prop is actually going to hinder your hookup ratio because, yeah, sure, it has to be placed perfectly for you to miss that fish, but that chance is still there. Whereas when it's in the front, like on the headspin jig, you don't have to worry about that because your minnow's back here, your prop's back here. So when the fish comes in and eats it, you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Super nice jig.
Any,
I do typically like a rattle jig. Something makes a little bit of noise, whether I have it on the jig and jaw jacker. Because I typically like to fish a spoon or a rattle bait or a glide bait of some sort with my active rods. So usually a rattle jig or that headspin jig. Like I say, it's new this year, so it's been fun to play around with, and we'll see how it works deeper on in the season. Comes in lots of sizes, so it's nice.
Yeah, sweet. What kind of rattle baits you're running?
So I have been running tantrums, but mostly smaller stuff is what I'm getting bit on. So like right here, I have more of like a natural color Rapala on number 5. So a little bit smaller. Typically in the past and later on in the season, I like running the bigger live targets. But right now, when I am getting fish on the rattle baits, it's definitely the smaller rattle baits. And you know, the whitefish coming in and eating those, so that's always fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
For that first ice, how deep were you fishing? Or did you transition?
So right now I should have been deeper. I was fishing 16 feet on, so say Saturday, I was fishing 16 feet, and we would get the odd walleye cruising through, but I think we needed to be on the bottom of the break rather than the top of it. So I've always gone by this rule of fishing first break walleyes, first ice, and that's definitely a thing for sure, where you fish them from like say 12 to 15 feet, kind of in there. And I think they were kind of just dropped down a little bit deeper. I should have been fishing more in that 20 to 26 foot range.
Yeah.
Is that where you were?
Yeah, we were from 17 to 23.
Yeah, hey.
And yeah.
And I think I honestly, so there was more of a evening bite. The fish would come up in the evening onto that shelf. So it definitely led me to believe that all afternoon they're down in the 25, 26 foot hole that's below that. So I should have been down there. But it was nice to catch them as they came up in the evening. Running and gunning definitely probably would have produced more fish. Just with cold weather, it kind of makes it a little bit tough with wind. But had I been able to run and gun, I probably would have been catching more fish.
Yeah, no, it wasn't very nice this weekend.
No, there was points where it was definitely beautiful, but there was points where it wasn't so much, and I maybe was being a little bit of a wimp too. So sitting in the shack, I had the shack set like I haven't been fishing in the shack all year, so it's been kind of nice to just hang out in there.
Yeah, Sunday we did that for whiteys and like 7 feet of water, just drilled a hole and looking down the hole.
Yeah.
But that wind was just brutal on Sunday.
Yeah, hey.
Just had that nip. You just didn't want to go out.
Absolutely. It makes it tough, man. It makes it tough for sure.
Yeah, when you're nice.
And down here in southern Alberta, the snow doesn't stay on the lake very well when it's blowing that hard, and it definitely blows down here. So you're slipping and sliding around. I mean, I'm kind of getting older. I feel those little jars now.
I think we all do. Yeah.
I used to pretend they weren't there, but they're definitely there.
Oh, you feel them the next day, or just looking down the hole if you're in shallow.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. What kind of rods and stuff were you using?
So like my two favorite walleye rods, basically they're going to depend on what bait I'm using. But 39-inch medium. This is a True Grip from Frostbite. So that's going to be for like your bigger rattle baits, so like your live target. You can fish the medium rattle baits on it too for sure. It gives you good control over them. as well as fishing like your larger spoons. So large spoon, say you're fishing a large glide bait, like this is what do you call this again?
Is that Acme?
Yeah, it's an Acme, but it's the Hyper Glide, not the Hyper Rattle. The Hyper Rattle, you want to use a more stout rod like this too. But I like the 39 because with walleye you got big head shakes, right? So the rod loads deep. I can't really show it all here, but it loads nice and deep. So when you got those head shakes, the longer rod's gonna absorb that. And then when I'm fishing more of like a finesse presentation or a dead stick, I'm going with a medium light, same size, 39. I'm just partial to that size. So 39 medium light, it's going to load really nice for a dead stick rod. Fish isn't going to feel nothing when it grabs it. As well as when you're fishing those smaller presentation, it just gives you a really good feel over it. Something I really like to fish is like something like this little, like the Lindy Hyper Flyer, or I know that Northlands makes one too, like the Buckshot or something. Great spoons, and to fish those on a medium light, absolutely great control over the spoon still, but it gives you lots of feel over it, being nice and light like that. So medium light. Who's carrying Frostbite? I'm not sure who carries Frostbite in store. I do order directly from their website, but I have been very impressed with their products. I mean, I'm not into saying that I like something if I actually don't. I'm very vocal in my opinions, and I have to say their rods are absolutely great. They have great big eyelets on them, so when you're freezing up, we fish a lot of really cold temperatures compared to down south where a lot of rod makers are. So you have big eyelets, makes a huge difference when things start to ice up, right? So
yeah, I haven't seen too many. I don't think there is really any dealers out west here.
Yeah, as far as I know, there isn't any dealers, but it would be nice to see some stores pick them up, or like I say, go to frostbite.com or .ca and order from there. They got a lot of great stuff. Like I say, I've been fishing a lot of their stuff. You can see it in my videos if you watch them. But the Dinner Bell spoon, great spoon. Their rods are awesome, and the tantrums are great too. So,
have you seen? I think it's Timber Wilderness rods.
I have seen them. I've held one. I haven't been able to fish one, but they definitely are very, very nice looking rods, and they do. I mean, just pulling on them, they feel like they're going to be really solid. The ones I fished were someone's pro model. They were a blue. I can't remember the name of them. I'm sorry, guys. Kevin Christensen, I believe, was the model, and absolutely beautiful rods. So
yeah, I fished with him actually on the Red River once when we were in Manitoba.
Yeah, and those rods there, that company there is local to Manitoba, right? So it's great to support a Canadian product like that.
And I saw them they're in Cabela's now. When I came back from Lac La Biche, they were in Cabela's.
Wow. That's awesome. That's good to hear.
I had a good price point, and I played with them too, and they're deadly. Yeah. But Christmas is close, so I just put it on the wish list,
There you go. But yeah, for walleyes, I'm mostly fishing a medium or a medium light. Lots of different rod makers. Like I do fish a Fenwick Elite Tech sometimes. Big fan of that rod. Absolutely great rod. Yeah. So yeah, there's tons of great rods out there. I just would, I mean, if I could steer someone in a direction, it would be to a longer rod for walleye, especially big walleye, to absorb those head shakes, like I say. Something like a 28, absolutely it's going to work. It's just going to unload a lot faster when that fish is throwing its head around. And when a rod unloads, that's when you lose them, right? So, hey, Kit, how's it going, man? Kit's been crushing it on YouTube, putting out great videos. Guys, go check him out.
Always crushing it.
Absolutely. That dude catches monsters.
Yeah, he's all over the place too. I saw he was down south right now, I believe.
The hot rods, I haven't been able to fish with those. Very very nice looking rods for sure. And Eric Hottie, a great angler, so I'm sure they're great rods. And if Greg uses it, we all know it's good.
Yeah.
I see he uses one on his iFish Pro there for some big pike. And I think it does the job awfully well, as he puts lots of big pike on the ice. So
yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Um,
for that really fancy angler on your wish list, those are expensive ice rods.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice.
Yeah, I was like, oh, maybe I'll go down that road for one rod, and then I like looked at the thing. I was like, or I could buy 2 rods.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have a bunch of
Kevin catches big ones, yeah.
Yeah.
Chico, the good luck dog, brings Kevin good luck, and anyone who he goes near brings good fish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're beautiful rods, though, for sure. I mean, with great quality comes a bit of a price tag sometimes, right? So it is what it is.
Yeah, for sure. With those long, do you always use the longer rod? Because you got a pretty big shack, so you can stretch out in the day.
Yeah, so like a 39-inch rod, or well, the True Grit, honestly, the medium there it's a 38. I do use a 39-inch fiberglass version of it too, which is called a digger. Typically, that's going to go in the jaw jacker, or be a dead bait rod as well. But yeah, I fish mostly bigger rods. When I'm hole hopping around, I don't have one down right now, and I'll probably make a mess if I stand up and try to grab one down. But the 50-inch medium is absolutely epic rod to fish outside. Mostly because, like, I mean, guys say like it's a long way to the hole from a 50-inch rod, but when you go like this, it's really not. And it just allows, like you were saying earlier, like your neck, like looking down a hole all day is painful. So is looking down at your flasher all day, right? And when you got a 50-inch rod, it allows you to stand back a bit to eye that flasher a little nicer. So it's a great rod. Not necessarily a shack rod, but it's a nice rod for sure.
How do you like those 50-inch trying to pull a transducer out?
Oh, no worries.
No?
You should just, like, we got to go fishing soon so that you can just see.
I have problems with a 30-inch rod sometimes.
Do you? Oh, no, I get my transducer pretty easy.
Maybe it's just I'm not that flexible anymore.
I'll throw myself to the ice to get the deucer out.
Yeah.
If you watch, there's a pike video that I have on my YouTube from like end of last year, I think it is, maybe the end of 2 years ago, actually. Yeah. And I catch a big pike on a rod, and I get super wrapped in my deucer. So like ever since that day, like I was always really good at pulling it, but ever since that day, I don't mess around. I just pull it right away, bang, down to a knee, and I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you just chuck it?
Oh yeah. I'm surprised I haven't like broke it yet, because it's gone flying. And so the funny thing is when I'm night fishing and sitting in my shack all by myself, inside I'll have my flasher here, and then I stick my phone just underneath it in that little pocket that's there, and watch a movie or whatever while I jig away, so I can still see the flasher and watch the movie at the same time. And sometimes I pull my deucer so hard it sends my phone flying. So I always have to make sure that the jaw jacker hole has a hole cover on it, because otherwise it may go down that hole.
Yeah, for sure. I had a good question. Oh, it's gone.
That's all right. I got a point that I wanted to make, because a lot of guys like fishing. 36 is probably the longest ice rod I have. 50, that's for summer fishing. Just my opinion. No, everyone has their own opinion, right? And that's just the way it is. So what works for you works for you. But what I was gonna say is, for walleye, I'm a big mono leader over fluorocarbon leader guy. I know I've said this on the show in a different episode before talking about walleyes, but carries over in ice season as well, where I use a mono leader over a fluoro leader, because let's face it, when you're using 10-pound, 8-pound, 12-pound, what have you, the walleyes aren't line shy. The big walleyes aren't going to be line shy to that size of line, whether it's mono or fluorocarbon anyways. And mono just gives you it gives you a little bit of extra stretch to once again absorb those head shakes, because when you got a big walleye at the bottom of the whole thing he's doing is going like this and swinging his head back and forth until it finally turns up the hole and comes up, as well as the whole time he's fighting you, he's swinging back and forth. So anything you can get in your system to absorb that without you having to move up and down, I find is ideal. And fluorocarbon just doesn't stretch, and it gives me heart attacks. So big mono guy.
Yeah, like how I usually run like a 6-foot leader, then just do a surgeon's knot to my braid. What do you like to do?
So yeah, 6-foot leader sounds about right. But I use double uni knot. I'm not necessarily saying that one is better than the other. I think I'm just tied so many double uni knots that I can do it as fast as a fishing knot at this point. So I tend to stick with that one. If I don't like using swivels. So the problem with that is you get a lot of line twists. But the nice thing in winter to kind of combat that is you're usually not, me personally, I'm usually not fishing any deeper than 26 feet. I kind of cut myself off at 26 feet, unless, which I don't really fish Lakers. That would be the only time I would go deeper than that. And at that point, I'd probably use a swivel. So I think that kind of helps me with the 50-inch rod too, is I can reel all the way to my bait without having to worry about a swivel being in there.
100%. Yeah, I think my longest rod's a 42, but I use that without a flasher pretty much. That's shallow pike rod, or it's a lake trout dead stick.
Yeah.
And I'll just put that big bait on the bottom or whatever.
See, I have a 40
open bail.
Yeah, I have a 42 Fenwick Elite Tech that I really like, and I do use that in the shack and get away with it. But I do have a big shack, and I'm the only one in there, so I can kind of suit myself to that.
Yeah. How do you like on your butts? I know there's lots of different companies that have different sizes. On those longer rods, are you liking a longer butt? Because this is 28, I believe, Masuda medium I was using in the shack, just due to room.
Yeah.
But on those longer rods, I always like that butt to be longer. Just
so
bigger fish.
I'll do my best not to make a mess, and I'll grab the rod. Look at that. Wow.
Man, he did it first try.
Dude, that was clean.
Dang.
Round of applause. Guys, so that's like, I don't know. I would tell my girlfriend that's 12 inches. But I do like that longer handle. I honestly don't bury my rod in my forearm like this very often. But say you have a big pike on, that becomes awfully nice to have, to bury that in there. And that's what that's for, right? So I do like that. However, on the frostbite rods, so we'll go back to say even the medium light here, it's not long. Like, I don't have big hands. I'd probably say that's like 6, 7 inches. And it's great. Like, I've fought big walleye on this. You can still get it into like just above your wrist, right? And you can pin that fish, and it feels great. So I'm definitely I've seen a lot of stuff where it's like, don't fish like this. And it's like, you can fish like this all you want, but I don't like really short handles that only allow you that much. So for instance, if you look behind me on the wall here, I'll point at it. But this 13 fishing tickle stick, it's got a very, very short butt section. So I really only like using it for small fish, like panfish or something like that, like perch. I guess that's the only panfish we really have in Alberta. But yeah, just for the simple fact that it really doesn't give you anything other than just using your hand to fight that fish like this. So having a bit of a handle is nice to bury in your wrist or your forearm.
Yeah, I know this weekend when we were white fishing, I was doing this because I don't mind doing this every once in a while.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, I don't mind it either.
But I had the inline reel.
Yeah.
and I had my hand right on the spool.
Yeah.
And it just didn't give that drag when it took the run.
Yeah.
Bumped it off.
The only thing you have to do is if you decide to fish like this, like you could do it with the running gun that's got this great big long handle and sit like there and go like this. Like it's fine. You just have to really be gripped right on your reel, which isn't necessarily good for the reel. And you just have to hang on. Like, I don't know, guys will be like, oh, you'll hurt yourself. Like, I don't know, if you got toothpicks for wrists, I guess. I don't know, hang on to your rod. Like,
yeah.
I'll see as well, so I don't need to worry about room. Yeah, 40 and 45. Yeah, like I just love the, like, I mean, like I don't even know if like it's even like an aesthetic quality, I guess you could say. Like when you got a big old walleye on there and your rod's corked from your handle all the way to the hole and it's 39 inches, it looks sick. It's just a lot of
fun. When locating early season walleye, what kind of structure and area do you like to target?
Yeah, so down here we don't have like a lot of, like everything's a lot man-made lakes, right? So we don't have a whole lot of rock structure in our lakes. So you kind of got to find those humps or sand flats. Sand flats is a big thing, I find. If you can kind of get either just inside on the sand or just outside on the weeds, just barely in the weeds kind of thing, is going to make a huge difference. Because especially if you plan to overnight, so say you want to bump in shallow, a lot of these lakes, you want to target pike at the same time. So you're targeting an area, say 12 feet and under. The walleyes are definitely pushing up there in the evening and the nighttime. In the area they're going to push to is they're going to cruise around those sand flats and they're going to look for the bait fish because the perch will stack up in them and they'll go and they'll hammer the perch off them and then they can get straight back into cover. It's like an ambush thing, right? So if you can sit on the edge of those sand flats, it gives you the first thing that they see when they come out and bang, they'll smash the lure. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then, like I say, if it's like more midday, you're going to be fishing, you're going to be fishing, say, after 10 o'clock in the morning. Most of your day is that. You might want to set up on the bottom of a ridge right now. So say you can find something that drops 15 to 20 really fast, gives you a 5-foot break really fast, go below it, go on the bottom side of it. Because during the day, they're going to be down there cruising around. And in the evening, they're coming up and cruising that top level.
Yeah, for sure. Staging throughout the day.
Yeah, and the closer you can get to that edge, the better, right? Because if you can find a sand flat next to that drop, while you're also the first thing that they're getting to when they come up in the evening, not only are you the first thing that they see when they come out of the weeds, you're the first thing they see when they come up.
Yeah, for sure. Same thing around here. Run the drop-offs. I always love the top of a drop-off where you get that little bit of sand, then it's just kind of a weed block. It's
absolutely.
Just, a transition areas, even like mud to rock or sand to rock. It's all that structure that's going to hold minnows, perch, everything. Right. The more you fish that bait fish, like if you think of the bait fish where it's going to hang out, that's where your fish are going to be.
Right. And right now we're kind of starting to see the weeds die off, right? So when I say things like I'm fishing the edge of the weeds, these aren't weeds that are stacked up 2 feet off the bottom. These are weeds that are dead, laid over on bottom, because those still give them that feeling of that they're hidden, that they're coming in, they're not casting a shadow so much. They're moving in and they can hammer off that sand flat.
For sure. And like midday, will you still go with the rattle bait, or are you going to switch to something more subtle?
Something more subtle, like the spoon, or like I say, the Lindy Flyer, which I showed earlier there. That's the Lindy Flyer. It's got a nice little rattle in it, and it kicks out nicely. It covers a lot of ground.
Yeah.
Tip that with a minnow head. Something like the Clio, which I showed earlier as well, 1/4 ounce. That moves around a lot. But something I also like, guys, straight up and down, super nice for fishing on the flasher, is just straight up and down spoon. So this one itself is the Johnson Splinter. half ounce. So I'm going to be able to fish this spoon super vertical, but it does kick a bit, right? So it's going to kick and smash into that sand, and then I'll pull it up, smash into the sand. And then I can fish it straight up and down when I'm pounding on the spot when that walleye comes in. As you can see, that treble moves around nicely with a minnow head on there. They'll grab it. You're good to go. Midday, sure. I'm definitely spoon fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or something like I have been trying to get more into glide bait fishing. Not that I've ever thought they were bad lure. I just haven't gotten into them so much. So like I like the hyper glide because it's got the little wings on it, so it floats around really nicely, and it gives it's not so much of a dart and pound action like a jig and wrap is. And then there's the hyper hammer as well, and that's got it's got rattles in the eyes, and then it's also got a thing that goes back and forth in the middle. And then as you can see, I don't have a regular. I have a hyper hammer here. So if you look closely here, you look at the size of that back hook. It's not very big off the back of the propeller there, or whatever you want to call that. Something I like about the hyper hammer is it's got a way bigger, more stout hook, and I feel like one of the biggest things about these kind of baits is you lose fish, and I feel like that's kind of the answer to that. So super excited to give that more use this season. See how I can do there. I like the fact that it has a silicone tail, so you're not going to break it when you smash it into the rocks or the mud or whatever. So
the replaceable ones.
Yeah, and they're actually they are replaceable too, so it's super cool.
Yeah.
The nice thing about these, because the hyper glide, if you think, well, if I drop it down my hole, it's going to take 45 minutes to get to the bottom of the hole because the wing's open. They actually have a little thing that hooks onto your line here. It's just a little rubber thing. Hooks on your line, so it drops straight down like this, and you give it a snap quick, and boom, it's sitting flat. So it actually gets down to the fish super fast, and then you can fish it super finessey.
Yeah. It's the flutter spoon of the...
Yeah, it's beauty. The action on it's unreal.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love them.
And then like you got your classic buckshot spoons. Like that's never gonna die. That's always gonna hammer fish, right? Good rattle in there. I seen this year they came out with a glass version of it, so it'll be even louder. Super nice spoon. But I don't know if you guys can hear that. But it cranks. And then let's just be real here. Let's be real here. What can you catch every fish in Alberta on other than arguably a golden trout?
Len Thompson.
Well, that, I guess, yeah. But it gained incredible popularity a couple of years back. And so many companies make them. Dynamite, Rock Hard, everybody. Tube jigs. Guys, white tube jigs crush walleyes. They crush trout. They crush everything. If you have one lure, tube jig is money. You can put all different size weight jigs in them, right? So it can be more finesse or it can be more aggressive. Get yourself tubes.
Yeah. I know I like the spoons with the feathers on. I've always done really good with. Like the live target here. It's always done a good flutter. It's got lots of action. It's got that little bill on the front.
Yeah.
And this thing just goes. You rip it, it's gone off to the side. You rip it, it's gone everywhere.
So something.
Pardon?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, no, they just cover a lot of ground. And it's a little heavier, so it gets down quick. But when you're ripping it, it looks like that minnow in distress. It's going everywhere.
And I feel like that feather makes it so you don't so much need like a bait.
Yeah.
Right.
Even when I do a bait on these, I'll just wrap a minnow around the treble.
Okay.
So I'll just do a circle around it.
The full wrap.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it holds on good. I learned it from some guys out east. And after that, I've always done it.
Write this down so before Mitch puts it in the vault. No, something like you say, like those feathered trebles, man. So something I fish like later on. So say after January, kind of later January, because the burbot come out and they seem to love these, are blade baits. And the blade bait with a feathered treble on it is money.
I bet.
Absolutely. My biggest burbot comes on a blade bait. I've caught lots of burbot on blade baits. And I find that feathered treble, you know, if your minnow head falls off because you're jigging aggressively like crazy, it's nice to have that feathered treble there to give a little bit of extra flash for him to key in on.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I was trying to find it to bring it up. Live Target has a new blade bait, and they look.
Oh, do they?
Freaking sweet. Like they got the hologram kind of body on them and everything.
Yeah, like the hologram ones are beauty. And like they just, I mean, everyone's really into the rattle rip and wraps and everything like that. And don't get me wrong, I am too. They're lovely. But when you eliminate the rattle, kind of sometimes it does make a huge difference. And then you just get that lateral line going, and it just makes them so mad that they have to eat it. So those blade baits are awesome for that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like pretty much like the spoon. Oh, it's got the minnow pattern there.
Right.
It has that in the blade bait.
Yeah, this one here, it's taking a beating. The feather kind of needs the white re-added to it. But if you can see, pink and white glow for burbs, guys, that's money right there. That blade bait right there. I'll tell you for free, it's an Amazon bait.
Like this, the clams.
Yeah.
It's one piece body.
Oh yeah, I seen that they did that.
It's solid, so I've never broke off one of those fins on the back, but it'd be a hard time trying to break one of them off too.
Yeah. Where can you get those Tika minnows? Those Tika minnows are really nice.
I know, I think pretty much everywhere. I know.
Fishing hole, Cabela's. See, down here, you say that, but down here, man, it's like unless you want to buy the most genuine thing you can get in Canadian Tire, that's all you can get.
Yeah.
For miles, 3 hours around. 3 hours around, that's all you can get is Canadian Tire.
I think you only got to spend $120 at Cabela's for free shipping.
Hey, what is with no Visa debit though? They're like, oh, spend on your credit card. Well,
that's weird.
Yeah, they got to get with the times. It's all right. I like spending the money I have, not the money that makes me need to make more.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can get. I don't know if Hooked Up has these, but I know they have a ton of great stuff for a local shop. They're loaded up.
Yeah, Adam there, Adam Squared, the other part of Adam Squared there, he was showing off some pictures of the shop the other day, and wow, that place looks unreal, dude.
It's stacked, and they make all their plastics in house.
They got Taylor fly reels in there, like those are top of the line, like sick.
Yeah,
Coogan baits, like I think that's cool. Whatever. Throw some Kraken cross for some walleyes or what, bud?
Down south, man. That's all you got. I bet you'd kill it.
Oh, dude, 100% you would. There's anyone who thinks that's a joke doesn't understand why I'm laughing. I just think it's funny that you can do that.
Yeah,
it would work 100%. You get that green pumpkin purple. Oh,
yeah. It's definitely something that gets overlooked.
100%. That's one thing I do like is that, and like I'll say that, the scissor kick that I showed, the purple and chrome, for me, purple has always been kind of a walleye thingy for me. Yeah. Really nice color for walleye. Kind of gets overlooked because you think, what's purple down there? And I don't really know what is purple down there, but it is sure a nice color for walleyes. On a finicky bite, 5 mil tungsten and a tiny minnow head. Absolutely, because if you've ever jigged a hole with a spoon too aggressively in minnow heads, you know that you have about 5 on the bottom, 6 on the bottom. And when the bite slows right down and they come in for your spoon and all they do is pick the heads off the bottom, you really wish that's what you were doing.
Yeah, or just go to a treble, bare treble, put it right close. is always something that when fish aren't biting, bear treble with a minnow on the bottom. Because most of the time those lakes will be high pressured. Like high pressure lakes, I'll just do a treble with a minnow. Small treble, regular size minnow, just leave it on the bottom.
There's a video on YouTube from somewhere in Alberta. I have no idea who did it. I watched it a long time ago, and it's about walleyes doing that, and he shows the difference from day to day, how they'll eat the minnows only off the bottom, and then how they'll eat the minnows only suspended, even when there's minnows on the bottom there.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It'll show you exactly what I mean. I don't know, like I don't even know how to send you guys to it, but it was a video that I was like, huh, you learn a lot from it for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's right here in Alberta, so
have to track it down somehow.
Yeah, I wish I could. Like maybe I can send it to Mitch here and he can link it for next week or something.
Yeah.
If I can find it.
Do you like running just the swivel attachments on top of your spoons?
So yeah, like I used to be like a couple years ago, I would have been like, I only tie direct to the split ring. That's all I do.
Yeah.
I have completely gone away from that over the past couple of years, and everything is to a snap now. So not only is it just for like ease of use, but just having, if anyone knows what the Rapala knot is, basically it just gives you a little opening for your eyelet when you're fishing with a wrap. It's more of like a circle like this that your lure sits in, so it can move around a lot more. So nowadays, I don't know how well that'll show up, but I fish a really wide-eyed swivel. The tip of my finger is the open end of the swivel where the bait sits. It's really wide compared to the size of the swivel. The swivel is not very long. It's very small, but something that's very wide and very rounded so that your spoon or your jig and wrap or your rip and wrap, what have you, has a lot of room to move around. The only thing I tie direct anymore is a jig. If I'm fishing a straight jig head, I'll tie it direct.
Just to have that good symmetrical.
Yeah, that way I can pin my knot however I want it to get my bait to sit however I want.
Yeah. I always just push it all the way
to the back.
All the way to the back, then it's going to sit.
Yeah, absolutely. And like that might be something like that's definitely like show that again, Mitch, because I don't think a lot of people really realize that is when you tie your jig on, you can just tie your jig on, boom, drop down the hole, or you can do this. And this is the way you should tie a jig head on a minnow. Is when you tie it on, you push your knot all the way back to the eyelet towards the back of the body of the jig. So it sits that vertically like that.
Sitting perfectly vertically.
You are going to need to adjust that every time you catch a fish.
Yeah, or miss a fish.
Or miss a fish. Absolutely.
But your bite,
it's simple adjustments like that that will make a finicky bite a good day or a bad day.
Yeah, it'll bring you up 3 fish at least hits.
100%.
Because it's just natural.
Absolutely. It's little things like that that'll really really help your numbers go up, guys, for sure.
Yeah. If your bait looks natural, you're gonna get 100% better chance.
Now, someone tell me how to catch a damn whitefish. I hate them, Greg. They smell funny. That literally, like, tell me a fish that smells worse than whitefish. There isn't one. There isn't one. They smell horrible.
They smell, but they're good.
But right now, they seem to come into rip wraps.
You can smash them right now.
Like, they're coming in rip and wraps and they're eating them, for sure.
Yeah.
And like 12 feet, I was in 12 feet of water. When I was in 16, not so much luck going on. They were more cruising through. I had a chronomid above, and they would eat the chronomid above the Lindy flyer spoon. So that was the other thing that was set up for them. I don't know where the Lindy flyer spoon went. There it is. The green and silver, not the red, but the green and silver with a chronomid about 8 inches above it. In the deeper water was working better. Rattlebait and shallow water was working better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for me anyway.
Yeah. I always just
I also really suck at them too, so take that for what it's worth.
The slender spoon was on fire on Sunday.
Yeah,
the smallest slender spoon and the dimpled silver.
Dude, they would not eat a spoon for me.
Really?
No, they'd eat the ground mid. They'd like, I was like, it was frustrating.
I think we had 3 rejects. Everything else just smashed it.
Every time I would change the color of the spoon I would put on, they would come to it and then turn. I'm like, okay, rattle bait.
Yeah. No, the bite was good on Sunday for whiteys. We weren't in the spot we really wanted to be, but it was fish after fish.
Yeah, hey.
And
the other thing that you can't overlook for walleyes right now is big dead baits.
Yeah.
Big dead baits is a thing. 100%. The old classic tip up or iFish Pro or however you want to do it. Jaw jacker doesn't handle a big enough bait. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about really big. They'll eat them right now.
Yeah.
They're going to shut down off them within a couple of weeks, and they'll come back onto them in March. But right now, if you want to catch a really big walleye, put out a huge herring overnight or something like that.
Yeah.
A lot of time they'll eat it, and it'll take forever for your flag to even pop.
Yeah. Do you run a jaw jacker on your big baits, or you just do the flags?
No, just flags.
Yeah.
No, I run a jaw jacker for like up to like maybe like a 5-inch bait max. And a 5-inch bait for me is rather small, to be honest. That's like a So yeah, I'll fish that on jaw jacker with a jig and a stinger. Sometimes you can get jigs. That's like one thing I'd love to see. Maybe like this hooked up carry that. That's what I'll have to look into. We need a longer, stouter hook jigs here in Alberta.
The longer, better shanks.
Yeah, we need a heavy shank jig. There used to be a jig maker that made them. They don't make them anymore. But yeah, like a long shank jig with a stout hook on like a 5-inch minnow for a jig on a jaw jacker for me is killer.
Yeah. What size of head are you running for weight for those jigs?
That's really going to depend on how deep I am. Most of the time, I'm pretty shallow at night. Once again, right now I'm having a problem with stout hook to length ratio. So I am having to run something heavier, like a 1/2-ounce ball jig, to get that length and that stoutness of hook. I would like to be down to 1/4 ounce to almost eliminate my head and just have a light touch of glow at the front. And keep these more for like a burb or a deep water fishing jig. But they do work. 100% they work. So I can't complain too much.
Have you tried those Northland long shanks? I know Northlands has a long shank fireball jig head.
Well, the only fireballs we have in Canadian Tire aren't those. So.
Oh yeah, I know I picked them up one day. They're somewhere, probably in a bag somewhere. But
I've been really focused on fishing the south for too long. I need to come up north, hit Cabela's, and then fish.
Yeah, you do have to come up. We can go on some crazy adventures.
Yeah, man. Double drone.
Double drone.
Double drone.
Yeah, I got the drone up this weekend. I'm hoping the footage turns out good. I know my lighting was bad, and
but
we'll
see. Here's the thing. I was thinking about it earlier, and I was like, sometimes I tend to not fly it when it's cold out because it's like it gives you warnings and stuff.
Yeah.
But dude, what did I buy the warranty for? Let's crash and burn.
Yeah.
Let's send her till she hits the ground.
I flew mine on Friday.
Yeah.
And it was fine.
Oh yeah, I've flown it in -20 so far and it's been good.
Yeah.
I just have to like put the battery in my pocket for like 20 minutes first. set it on the ground, jam the battery in it, get it in the air right away, and you're good.
Yeah, the battery life was nowhere near the summer.
No, you don't want to be going far.
No, I kept her close. We just did some shack shots and everything, but
yeah.
Man, they're sweet.
Yeah. Down south here, like, and like people will know that there's like one lake in particular where you get flyby by an airplane all the time, but it's almost every lake down here. If you're fishing a walleye lake down here, you're probably getting a flyby by a farmer, and it's like I want to like catch that on my drone. That'd be cool as hell. But at the same time, if anyone's a pilot on here and can tell me that that is a horrible idea and I'll mess with your controls, I definitely won't do
it. Yeah.
But as for right now, it seems like a really cool idea in my head. And if he lands on the lake and goes, "What were you doing?" I'll be like, "Sir, I have a cool video for you."
I think as long as you give him his distance, it'll be okay.
Oh yeah, I'm not trying to like
buzz
dog fight with him.
Yeah. Do you have any other tips for walleyes?
I mean, the biggest thing is just like give them the gears when you set the hook. Walleye have a hard mouth. We're in a transition from fishing soft mouth fish like trout and whitefish into fishing these big predators like pike, walleye, and burbot. And just remember to give it to them when you set the hook. And you need a rod that can do that for you. It doesn't matter what brand it is. You know, you see a lot of things pushed by different people. You know, I sit here and say frostbite. Don't got to be one. Just get something that's got a lot of backbone so that when you drill them, drives the hook into them. Because one way to lose a lot of fish is if your rod's too soft. Like I say, you want it to load, but you need it to have backbone. Otherwise, it's useless.
Yeah. Yeah, I know even when that softer bite's happening, when you're fishing and that fish comes on that soft bite and say you don't have a stinger, half the time they're just grabbing right here.
Yep.
And then you feel the weight. Just give them that extra second, because if you've ever watched a camera or anything, they'll take that second gulp and they'll suck that in. So just give them an extra second on those. Yeah.
Eat it. You'll feel them both, especially with walleye. Like walleye aren't like trout or whitefish where they come in and it's like whack, gone. Like a walleye, if it comes in, it's especially so. First of all, if a walleye is coming in and it eats your rattle bait, you probably don't even really like. I mean, set the hook, but you almost don't have to. They're eating it. But this is more jig fishing, right? So like when they eat it, it's gonna be like 1, 2, you're good there. But as soon as that comes down, I'm going up.
Yeah.
And give it to them. Because, like, yeah, sure, you'll miss the odd fish, but just tell yourself it was small and it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah.
But like a big enough fish is gonna come in, boom, boom, and then like it's still gotta like spit it out, and for that fish to get that bait out, it takes a second. So you're gonna see it on your flasher. If you don't have a flasher, you're gonna have felt it, and you're gonna have a good chance to set the rod or set the hook. That's why I say like it's good to have a good soft tip. That way you can see the bite when it happens.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
What about night walleye?
Night walleye tips. So night walleye is a thing that I do a lot. And like I say, it's just more about being shallower on those shallower sand flats, just up from the drop. So if you can find something, headed to find that elusive 10-pounder. So if you can find that drop that's like, I like to be 12 feet. Not a whole lot deeper than that, because I have an area that's 12, 18 is awfully close. So that gives you, I'm not the best person at math, but that gives you, what, 6 feet, 4 feet, whatever it is. It gives you a quick drop. It's not 1 foot gradual inclines. It's something that they're coming up to the top of with the intention to eat. And then if you can find a sand flat extremely close to where that drop is, they're going to come in, and that weeds, that's their protection, that's their camouflage. And boom, if you're on the inside of that sand flat, you're the first thing they see, because they're coming in there to chase the perch, down where you are, the smelt, different things like that. They're going to come up, push those up on the flats, and then chase them and eat them, right? So if you're the first thing up there, you're the first thing that's going to get eaten. So just make yourself known, especially at night. Rattle baits, big rattle baits, or blade baits, something that's going to get that lateral line going and piss them off. But keep that dead stick close by, because when that rattle bait gets them going, sometimes they're just not fired up enough to want to take something that's, 2.5 to 3 inches long, that's moving aggressively and making a lot of noise, when there's something that's 3 inches long next to it that's just calmly sitting there and smells delightful. So
Yeah,
I think you guys are allowed live bait down there too, and that's going to give you a huge advantage if you can have that dead minnow sitting next to you in the shack or what have you. Have that live minnow sitting next to you down near bottom, just suspended, 8 inches off bottom, and then jig that aggressive bait, 3-4 feet over. You're going to have a lot of success.
Yeah.
Someone who does that a lot, and you're fishing American water, which is pretty pressured. Someone who does that a lot, and I recommend watching, is Tom Boley. If you don't watch him, he is the man. That guy is really good, so check him out.
With fishing at night, and it works for the days, do you watch the moon phases?
I mean, I watch them, and I have better days, and I don't have as good of days, right? Am I gonna not go? No, absolutely not. That's one of the silliest mistakes you can make, is just not going because you looked at a moon phase. I think, because all it really takes, like the gentleman said, Pickle Outdoors said there, he's looking for that elusive 10-pound walleye. Well, that doesn't come in 6 bites. That comes in 1 bite.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of times when you're night fishing, let's be real here. If you're night fishing, you're fishing for trophies. You're not fishing for the 15, 16 inches, 20 fish nights. I'm all right with 1 fish if it's 30 inches long. That's quite all right with me, right? So,
if you had a full moon, are you going to move in tighter or stay still on that edge?
So if I have a full moon, I'm actually probably going to be more inclined to move around more, to be totally honest with you, because you're almost saying, by saying, are you in more? There's so many fish cruising that they're getting away from the edge. They're going everywhere. Full moons are really big for fish being super active, walleyes being super active. So you can push in far, because you're going to have schools of walleye that are nonstop cruising and not looking to come up, eat, and go back down. They're looking to gorge rather than just have a quick meal and go back down. Because it's a lot easier for fish to digest meals when they're down deep. I don't know how much that's really comes into play, but in my opinion, on a slower bite, it's more important to be closer to that edge, because they don't want to spend more energy than they have to, right? So it's nice to be close to that edge, so they can come up, eat, and get back down to where it's easy to digest and easy to rest, and they're not dealing with such temperature change.
Yeah, 100%.
There was a point I was going to make. Oh, if you're fishing in a shack, which I do all the time at night, biggest mistake you can make is leave your lights on if you're fishing shallow. Doesn't matter if you can't see. Have a good headlamp on your head that you can click on in a moment's notice before you pull your deucer, and it's going to make all the difference in the world. Because sure, full moon's great, but a giant spotlight from your shack, I get the fact you're not pointing your lights down the shack. Just having lights on in your shack, it's creating a lot of light below you. Doesn't matter how many mats you think you have down, It's shining down your hole, and it looks ridiculous to fish.
It looks like aliens.
I don't think it helps at all. Yeah, like, I don't know. There's that odd fish that's like, we're going to the light. But that's the odd fish, right? So shut off your lights and flick on your headlamp when you hook up.
Yeah.
You can fish by the light of your heater, no problem. That's whatever.
Yeah. In Alberta, we can't have lights.
Okay. Yeah, no, we can't use bait light. So well, that's partial to.
That's a technicality.
Here's one thing that we can use in Alberta that I do believe works, and it has worked for me, but it's not like spotlighting. Like spotlighting is like when I have the light that I'm using here in my shack, it just creates a ton of light below me. This, you put a little glow stick in and jig away. Perfectly legal, perfectly normal. Really good for bourbon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used one of those once. I think it was on Slave Lake. I did catch a fish, but I never put much faith in them.
No?
No. I never used them, really. Just once.
No.
So I really have nothing to say good about them or bad about them. But yeah.
Yeah, no, those big walleyes, like, I find it's easier to get a big walleye at night. I've caught a lot of big walleye at night. When it's ice season, we're talking. So yeah, if you want to try to get that 10-pounder, I would suggest fishing early, or late.
Yeah.
And there's no need to be a whole lot deeper than 12 feet, in my opinion, once you're past 9 o'clock at night. I honestly, like I say, I do catch the odd nice walleye at this point. But a lot of my, like, when I have luck, like when I have steady nights of large fish, it is typically later season. Early season, they are a little more spread out than they are later, so it's a little tougher to find them. But you can definitely get on them.
Yeah. I know we really touched on a bunch of stuff, but there's so much stuff for walleye. It's crazy.
Yeah, like, honestly, in my opinion, so everyone says trout are finicky and blah, 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 blah. Like, walleye, like I said at the start of the show, it is a day-to-day thing. You can walk past someone coming off the ice and said, I just had my best day ever on the hyperglide. Yeah. And by the time you get out there and your hole is drilled, hyperglide ain't doing anything.
Yeah.
Or he was fishing it slightly different than you. Like, walleye are finicky fish. Big walleye are finicky fish. And harder to find. So constantly getting on big walleye is a feat. So the people who do it, like guys like Clayton, it's unreal to constantly be on big fish like that. The amount of work I put into big walleyes is ridiculous, and it's not working out so far this year.
Well, right now is the time, same as March. Catch a good one right now.
I can't wait for March Madness. Do we want to do a quick cover of what we should buy people for Christmas? I think we were supposed to do that.
Yeah, you better.
What do you think we should buy people for Christmas? No, we shouldn't buy people anything. Well, I mean, we should buy some people some stuff.
Yeah, no. There's always lipless cranks. You can never go wrong with a rattle bait.
If you buy a fisherman lures or a gift card to a fishing store, they're going to be anything but mad. I promise you. People are always like, I don't like to give gift cards. I'm like, gift cards probably great. Great.
Yeah, they are the best.
I think jaw jackers. There's nothing I don't want to spend money on like a jaw jacker.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally got enough of them. I don't need more. But ladies, if there's any lovely women on here who would love to buy your husband, your fishy husband, something that he cannot bear to spend $200 on a piece of freaking plastic,
Yeah.
go buy him a jig and jaw jacker. And he's going to buy you all the Pinot Gringo you ever wanted.
Pinot Gringo.
See,
Yeah.
I'm like a in my second job of being a fisherman, I'm a matchmaker.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Yeah, no. Everybody if they don't got a jig and jaw jacker, that's something nobody really wants to spend money on. But if they had it, they'd really like it.
Honestly, it is hard to justify spending $200 on something that, like, you're like, oh well, it's just my set line. Like, it's my set line. Jig and jaw jacker will catch you a ton of fish,
Yeah.
compared to the regular one. There is, especially if you trout fish a lot. Put it this way: if you trout fish a lot, you know how much a set line is almost worthless most days. Jig and jaw jacker completely eliminates that.
Yeah.
Like brook trout, jig and jaw jacker, absolutely clutch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah. Gift
that
cards.
would be one gift I would buy. And then buddy heaters are also on sale. So don't buy the Flex. Buy the Mr. Buddy or the Big Buddy. Sick deals.
Get the Big Buddy.
And then get yourself, what? I don't have it on me. Get yourself a carbon monoxide detector, you fools.
Yeah.
If you're not sleeping with a carbon monoxide detector in your shack during overnights, I beg you to get one, because I don't want to hear about anything happening to any of you beautiful people because you didn't wake up one day because something happened with your heater. Seriously, just sleep with a carbon monoxide detector next to your head. Don't stick it up in the top of your shack. If you don't know, carbon monoxide does not rise above air. It's heavier than air, so it sits at the bottom. So keep it at your head level when you're sleeping. Most important thing that you can do. Diesel heater, that would be awesome. And then the other thing, I'm sorry I'm being all safety. Get one of, doesn't have to be this one. If you ever go out of service, you ever fish out of service, hike out of service, anything, you know someone who does, get them one, and you care about them, get them one of these. Please get them one of these, because it'll track where they are, and it'll make, if you have to go, God forbid anything happens to them and you got to go get them, it'll make life so much easier than it would be without them.
Yeah.
Not to mention, if you're the person who's going out of service or whatever, having that SOS button there should something happen, it's kind of gives you a little pillow of safety, or whatever you want to call it, in the back of your mind. So
yeah, 100%. Was that an InReach or?
That one is a Spot Gen 4, something like that. Yeah, it's like a Spot Gen 4. Yeah. And I mean, I've used it to go up for golden trout, and then I come back and I can look at my hiking path as I walked up. You can set it so it tracks your location every 5 minutes, and it's no extra charge on top of the monthly fee. It is a monthly fee, but I mean, y'all probably got Netflix, y'all probably got Paramount. Those aren't going to save your life. This probably is. So I definitely recommend getting Garmin, Solio, Spot, what have you. Get one, because if something were to happen to you, like I said, make it a lot easier if your friends or your family members are able to find you still alive because you had one of these. So get one of those, get a jig and jaw jacker, get a buddy heater, get a frostbite rod, get a crankbaits, put them on your face, get Lindy flyer spoons. Mitch is going to come back and be mad because I'm hanging things off my face again.
Again?
Yeah. I'm a fishing boy, and I got the wraps. I'm a fishing boy. This snow is crap. I want to go fishing, man, but it's way too cold. I want to go fishing, man, but when I slip, I feel old. See, I'm still more famous than those guys. Those guys fell off. I'm a rapper.
You're still going.
I'm hip hop anonymous. Does anyone have any further walleye questions?
Those are all the hooks you need. Take a picture of Adam's face and go get those hooks, and you'll be set for the season.
Acme Hyper Glide, Acme Hyper Hammer, Little Cleo, Frostbite Tantrum. I don't want to turn too fast because I don't want to lose an eyeball.
You're gonna
Frostbite Scissor Kick and Frostbite Dinner Bell, and you'll slay them.
Yeah. I
literally use the same 5 things all the time other than a jig and a minnow. Yeah. I hate using a jig and a minnow. I used to be like, "Oh, people hate using a jig and minnow. You're gay." Sorry, that was so politically incorrect to me. I'm so sorry, guys.
Oh man.
But I really like to fish aggressively, but you can't beat a jig and a minnow. Sometimes you got to give them bait when they want it. That's something I've learned over my time of fishing. Whether I want to fish bait or not, sometimes you just have to. But all kinds of goodies out there for Christmas. Pisca Fun reels. Really good reels. Really good price point. Really good drags.
Yeah, and they have that.
Mitch is sponsored by them. I'm not, even though I have like 14 of them. Like literally 14 of them. Fly reels, spin reels.
All the reels.
If anyone, the only sponsor I ever want, and I only want them to like trade me like, I'll take 6 photos for you if you give me a shack. I need an ice shack so bad.
What, you need a new like pop-up?
Yeah. I'm gonna die one of these nights. It has so many, like, the one door is like ripped majorly. The windows do not fit properly. When it was minus 26 the other day on the lake, when I was sleeping, it was minus 26 in the shack.
Yeah.
Unless I was right in front of the heater, it was minus 26.
Yeah, that's brutal.
No, I just gotta buy one. I'm hoping that maybe someone loves me for Christmas, but
gift cards. Gift cards for Adam.
Gift cards.
Or just cash.
Hey, has anyone used the Cabela's tent? I looked at the Cabela's tent. I was like, that's pretty sweet. I don't like the walk-through doors.
You like
I know I do this at the end of every show where I randomly just discuss things that I need and I want to get and I hope people have feedback on. Maybe we can just make that a little segment. Adam's rant and want and needs. Adam needs this stuff. I don't like the walk-through doors.
Yeah.
It's too windy down here and you got to like keep them out of the wind and the wind just switches directions like nonstop. And I really like the old otter doors where it was like the V, where your zippers come down and meet. I don't like that round door because I've ripped too many of those round doors.
The round.
And I know that the Cabela's tents still have that V in them, so I was wondering if anyone's used those, if they're half decent or if they're just junk.
I know they have a sale on the XP.
Oh yeah, and like that's the thing, they had a sale on the one, and I like the big rectangle ones. That's the kind I use. So.
Actually, I think Pissy Fun actually had a giveaway today for their new ice shack.
It's well, if I was sponsored by them for my 14 reels, I'd have 14 ice shacks. But instead, I'm going to have to buy one.
And with those ones, you can zip them together to make them longer.
So we can build a whole village.
I don't think you can build a village, but I think you can put 2 together. I'm pretty sure you can zip 2 together, unless that's just the hunting blind from Tide Weed. But I'm pretty sure Pissy Fun has the zip togethers.
Can you zip 2 double wides together?
I don't think so.
Because that would be livable. You could move there. You could move there.
Make a big square.
Yeah, just move
your jaw jacker in the middle in the courtyard.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It'd be beautiful. Need like 6 buddy heaters.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I have an older Cabela's. I think it's a 6 wall or 5 wall with the V doors still.
Yeah.
But I know the top zipper broke on it on the one side.
Yeah, see, I have enough broken shit. Oh.
That's the only thing that's been wrong with it, though. I've had it for at least 4 years.
Yeah. And see, my Fraybill one has been super good to me. I just like the windows had like the fabrics kind of must have stretched or something, so the windows don't quite fit perfectly anymore. And then I ripped the one door pretty badly. So yeah, it's like the Windy City in there, you know. We call her Chicago when we're fishing in there. So that's what happens.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you need to get a new one.
Yeah. But like I say, Christmas is coming up, you know, like maybe I'll get like a $20 gift card here, $20 gift card there, and then they'll only be $950 instead of $1,000.
Boxing Day, though.
I'll be fishing.
I know last year I picked up that Garmin 73 side view for $600 bucks, and they're regular $1,300.
Huh.
And that's
does our big buddy Todd do the Boxing Day thing? There's no way I'm going to Calgary. Listen, I do not like people. I am not going to Calgary for Boxing Day.
He has Todd money, so.
Yeah, no, I'll send him the money.
No, he has
new store in Fort McLeod opened up a couple months ago, hunting and fishing. Cool, that's only 2 hours and 2.5 hours away from me instead of the 3 hours I said before.
It's probably really nice, though.
It was good to see Jeff there, though. I do miss Jeff.
Yeah. Yeah, no. You just gotta take that one day. Usually, the Boxing Day sales are for like a week.
I think if I was able to grow a beard, I would just be able to fish outside all the time. But I can't grow a beard, so I'll just have to keep looking for a shack.
Just try. We'll see how it goes.
I get cold. But if someone gives me feedback on the Cabela's shack, that would be great. Send me a message on I don't have Facebook.
Because what are they now? They're $5.99? $100 off?
$6.99.
That's regular. I think they're $5.99 right now. I think I saw it today.
But I think they were $7.99 right. I could be wrong. Also, no, this is good to drag this out for so long. I was like, maybe I should get a hexagon one.
That's what I have. It gives you a lot more room. Like I can put a cot in the back, a table in the front, and still have 4 holes. For like the missus and I. But
yeah, because like I was thinking, because like all I ever max have is like camera hole, rod hole, jacker hole, right? And like I was like, well, it kind of would make sense because then I could probably just put my cot at the back and then actually sit in a chair, and then instead of sitting on my, because I sit on my cot all the time to fish and everything.
Yeah.
And it's kind of freaking annoying.
On the cot. Yeah, sitting on a cot's not as fun.
No. You can't lean back. I'm getting old. My back is sore.
And it's dipped in, so you're kind of sitting already going against gravity.
Yeah.
But
these are all good factual informational points.
Yeah. Don't fish off a cot. It hurts.
And don't get yourself a zero gravity chair because that's probably the worst way to sleep. If you want your legs to wake up and your legs to be asleep, it's not good. Hexagon is the way to go. Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate your opinion. I have a feeling that is only your first name instead of 2 names. But for a second there, I read that and I was like, oh, his name is Joseph. And then I was like, oh, his name's Joseph. I'm an idiot. This is what I'm talking about. This is why I go fishing.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Well, should we call it or what?
I mean, I think we probably could. If anyone wants to, go check out Mitch's YouTube because it's way cooler than mine. And when you're done with Mitch's, go check out Kit's because that one's super dope too. And then when you're done with Kit's, when you're finally done with Kit's, then go to John Rajesh's, and then follow yourself all the way back to me.
Yeah.
And it says new drops Sunday at 12 Mountain Standard Time. I will continue that other than last weekend because I was very busy. As long as my views continuously are over 150, because otherwise I'm just not going to put them out every week because it's a lot of work with how much I've been working lately.
Yeah.
Especially if it's not that great of a video. If I'm like, well, I'm fishing another cold front again. Instead of like, wow, here's a giant.
Yeah. It's a lot of work cutting videos and everything after you come home from work and deal with everything else.
I love filming them, and I do like editing them as long as it's not like one. Like people will be like, "Oh, I love the informational ones." Honestly, to be honest with you guys, the ones that I hate making are the ones where I'm like, "You guys should try this and then do this and then try this and do this," because I feel like I'm being. First of all, I feel like I'm being an ass, whether it works or not. But second, I'm like, "Hi, Mr. Boring." Like if anyone who hangs out with me knows I put hooks in my face and act like a moron. So like those are the fun videos to make because that's when I'm having actual fun and catching fish and doing what I like to do, instead of like being like, oh, do this because this is what's probably gonna work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
YouTube's fun though. I like flying my drone. I like Mitch. It's all good.
Well, everybody, we better wrap it up or we're going to ramble all night about everything.
Yeah, and if we keep talking, you're going to miss Tom Boley's new upload, which is way more informational than me rambling about what shack I need.
So someone send Adam a shack. He needs one. He's damn near homeless.
Dude, someone send me a shack. Hooked up fishing gear. Hooker guy up.
He needs one. Otherwise, you're just going to see him wrapped up in it soon.
Yeah, I'm just going to sleep in
there with his headlamp on.
I'm going to have a video come out where I sleep in my sleeping bag on the ice just to raise money for me to get a shack. I sound like a broke ass right now.
I bet you it'd work, though.
It'd be hilarious. I have thought about doing videos like that.
It'd work.
The other day, here we go again. The other day I was watching Alone in My Shack, and I was like, I should just go outside and film myself because the bite was so slow. I was like, I should just be like, I'm going to spend from dark until dark, or sundown till sun up, outside in the elements for you guys, whether I catch fish or not, and possibly die. And then I was like, I'm not prepared for that. I don't have coffee. I don't have hot food.
You just need a little jet boil. That's all you can have.
If you guys want to see me torture myself for videos, drop a comment below.
Yeah. Bring it
but
up.
We have to go.
I'll pass it on. I know I got a trip planned with a overland guy. We're going to overland into a lake and just do a setup and everything. Nothing near what you're doing, so I'm going to bring the big tent and wood-burning stove and everything, but...
I really don't want to sleep on the fucking ground.
Yeah, but you need to so you can get a tent. This is tent money.
I think I might rather just buy it myself.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens this weekend.
Okay. Someone buy out of a tent. Check him out, the Horseshoe Kid, on the socials. You'll find him. YouTube, Instagram. He's missing in action on Facebook right now.
Forever. I'll probably be missing it forever on Instagram. Unless someone wants to run the Horseshoe Kid Instagram for me, message me and drop it. I don't want to run it. I haven't ran it, won't run it, don't care. Don't think that I am quite cut out for the fishing scene. Support your veterans, though.
100%.
Because that's more important than watching me on YouTube.
Yeah. Take care of them. All right, everybody. You can catch me here most every Tuesday, unless something comes up. But we're here every Tuesday, so check out the Northwest pages. Make sure you subscribe to Adam's channel. Subscribe here. We'll see you next Tuesday. Get on the ice and have some fun. Cheers, everybody.